What's going on, people? Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to another video. I hope you guys are doing well today. Now, of course, I was supposed to be doing my Premier predictions on Friday, which of course is yesterday, but because I was so busy, I decided to do this Premier League predictions for game week number 31 before the earlier kickoff. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to be predicting these games before the earlier kickoff, which the Aston Villa versus Newcastle, and that's the first game on Saturday. And then there's loads of 3 p.m. kickoffs, and then tomorrow London Derby, Man United onto the Forest. So yeah, really good games. I'm looking forward to. So that's why I'm not. And that's why I'm going to do this very quickly before the earlier kickoff. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button if you're new. Smash a like if you enjoyed this video and the other Premier League prediction series I've done so far this season. Make sure you click the share button so that you guys can everyone can come along and give your predictions in the comments down below, and click the bell notification so that you never miss any of our YouTube content, because later on today there will be a Chelsea versus Brighton live watch along, and then after that straight match reaction. Of course, it's been a long time since I've done a match preview, but I will do it for the Real Madrid game, so you're gonna have to forgive me on that one. So I promise you it will happen. So yeah, make sure you guys do those things. Alright, let's start off with the earlier kickoff, which is today. Right, the first game, like I mentioned, is Aston Villa versus Newcastle United. Now, for this one, I go for a 2-2 draw because these two teams are well informed. I would have thought that Newcastle, after that Carabao defeat, is going to be like, the same thing where they don't pick up wins, draws, and all that stuff. But I have to tell you, ever since that Carabao Cup defeat, Newcastle are in the top 4. They beat the likes of Man United, Brentford, destroyed West Ham 5-1 last week. Newcastle are well informed, and guess what? They still don't do bad defensively. I mean, let me tell you, this year, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Newcastle this season have only conceded, only conceded 48 goals. Of course, they conceded 21 goals, which is the least amount of goals that any team has conceded this season. They have only conceded 21, and if you have a look at the goal difference, it's the third best. It's only Arsenal, Man City that have the best goal difference, but Newcastle defensively have been looking really, really good. So yeah, I'm telling you, they're in real form, and they're in the top 4, which nobody, even me, would have ever thought that, because I would have thought that Newcastle finishing 5th at least. I would have thought that my top 4 would have been Arsenal first, Man City second, Man United third, and Tottenham 4th. But the way Tottenham are playing, honestly, I think to myself, if Tottenham continue to play like this and Newcastle on form, then maybe before the season ends, I'm gonna have to change it to Newcastle being in the top 4, because honestly, what Eddie Howe is doing on the Newcastle, from getting them out of the relegation before he came in up to finishing the top 4 and being in the Carabao Cup final, honestly, it's absolutely amazing. So big up to Newcastle. Let's see if they continue this form and finish in the top 4 for the first time since earlier 2000s. So there you go. So Newcastle on form. Of course, Aston Villa, the same thing under Steven Gerrard. Under Newcastle last season, Steven Gerrard was this close to getting Aston Villa relegated, but the new Aston Villa owner did the right thing of sacking him, bringing in Unai Emery, which I thought it would never happen, but they actually did. And ever since they came back, and ever since he came, Aston Villa are 1 on form. They took them to 17th up to 6th. And if you look at the table here, they are 9 points ahead of, behind Newcastle, Manchester United. Are they? Yeah, 9 points. So for me, if Aston Villa can finish in the top 4, honestly, that would really surprise me. But to me, the only way for them to do that is for Newcastle, Man United, and Tottenham to keep on dropping points, and also them winning games. So I don't think they'll finish in the top 4, but I think they'll finish in Europe. Maybe the Europa League, because Aston Villa, their target was to finish above the mid-table and also just challenge for Europe. And it looks like Unai Emery is seriously been doing that. And he's on world form. He's been the teams like Chelsea, Manchester United, Tottenham, all of these teams. So yeah, to get 4 goals from 17-6 is honestly amazing. Well done to Aston Villa. Now this game is at Villa Park, which you all know is a difficult place to go to. Of course, Arsenal went there, they've won. So yeah, Chelsea went there if won. Tottenham, I think they went there and won too. But yeah, like I said, both teams are one form. So when I saw this game, I was thinking to myself, it's going to be a draw all over. I don't see one team beating the other because, like I said, both teams are one on form. So I went for 2-2. I think Ollie Watkins is on fine form, and the same thing goes for Isak too. So I think both of them will score, and Aston Villa maybe Brendan um, Brendan Diaz will score for Aston Villa, maybe Callum Wilson, because I'm not sure what's going on. Mika Almo is still having an injury, and Alex and Maxim is suffering an injury too, so that's looking good, not looking good for Newcastle. So yeah, but listen, both teams are well on form. Looking forward to this game. It's going to be a 2-2, Desmond 2-2 all over it. So there you go, 2-2 between Aston Villa and Newcastle United. Right, the next game is Chelsea versus Brighton. Now, of course, Chelsea, I read a stat here that Chelsea haven't scored 4 consecutive games for the first time since 1993. That is 30 years ago. Yeah, that was the year that I wasn't even born. That's 7 years before I was born because I was born in 2000. Yeah, and I'm telling you, that's why I'm telling you guys that this season is going to be worse than the 2015-16 season, and also during the 90s. But during the 90s, it wasn't this bad. It really wasn't this bad because we've been to third place, we won the FA Cup and all that stuff. But this season is worse because we're out of the FA Cup early, we're out of the Carabao Cup early. We still scored 29 goals this season. Erling Haaland scored more goals than Chelsea in the Premier League. And also, I also read a stat here that says Erling Haaland has scored more goals in all competitions than Chelsea. Guess how many goals Chelsea has scored the entirety of the season in all competitions? 41. Erling Haaland scored 45. So he's still scoring more goals than the entire Chelsea team. Honestly, it's just sickening. I also, what other stats have I read? Yeah, but they also start with that this is probably Chelsea's worst ever season since the 90s. So there you go. And Chelsea are close to relegation zone rather than being in the top four, because if you take a look at this year, other teams could catch us. Look at Crystal Palace. They got a game against Southampton, and if they do beat Southampton, which I think they will do, and Chelsea will lose, and if Wolves beat who have Wolves got? Let me just have a quick. Yeah, Wolves have got Brentford. If Wolves beat Brentford, they can seriously catch up Chelsea, and other teams as well. So that's what I'm telling you. This is relegation battle. So all I wanted is 40 points, and I don't think we're going to do that against Brighton, because Brighton, they were robbed by VAR. Even though I didn't watch that game, I saw the highlights, and they should have won. To me, Danny Welbeck's goal didn't look like, to me, was a handball. I don't know where they got that from. They were absolutely robbed, and I feel sorry for them. They should have beaten Tottenham, and if they did, Brighton would be in I think Brighton would have been 1 point behind Tottenham. So yeah, I feel sorry for them, Brighton. So yeah, but let's hope that they don't get robbed by Chelsea, because to me, if we win this game and Brighton get robbed, I'll tell you that we were lucky to beat them, just like we were lucky to beat West Ham in September. So there you go. So listen, I don't see us going this one, and I don't see us winning, because that Real Madrid performance is just not good. I feel like this game today is gonna be similar to the Wolves and Real Madrid game, where in the first 0 to 10 minutes we started good, but then after that, pure domination. So listen, I hope this game is different, but I don't think so. I hope these players turn up when Frank Lampard returns to Stamford Bridge, because I know the atmosphere is going to be great. They will be cheering on Frank Lampard, singing his name and all that stuff. So I really hope Chelsea can put in a really good performance against Brighton, but I fear that. I really do fear that. So I don't see us winning or do anything against Brighton. So I went for a Brighton win of 2-0. So there you go. I'm not going to. I wanted to go for a draw, but I did that against Real Madrid. But I got that wrong. So my head's telling me 2-0 Brighton. So I'm going to agree off my brain. So I'm going to go for 2-0 Brighton. I'm not looking forward to this game and the rest of the games in April. No, and also right, and if that actually happens, this will be the fifth time that Chelsea haven't scored since I don't know when. So when that game is over, I'll look at that stat and I'll tell you guys my match reactions. So then you guys can understand why Chelsea are just absolutely stink and just rotten. So there you go. Right, the next game is Everton against Fulham. Now, of course, Fulham didn't beat West Ham United, which I thought, which surprised me because the West Ham, they were in the relegation battle, so I would have thought that Fulham won that game. But yeah, West Ham, they took their chance very well, but for Fulham, they had this amount of choices. And I keep on saying, once you don't take your chances, then you're going to get punished. So I'd have thought that since Fulham, even though Alexander Mitrovic is suspended and Marco Silva is still suspended, I would have thought that they're going to win against West Ham, but that didn't happen. For Everton, what was their last? Yeah, the game against Man United. Yeah, I would have thought they're going to draw against Man United because, listen, I didn't want to go for an Everton win because it's at Old Trafford and no team has ever gone to Old Trafford and win other than Brighton at the beginning of the season. So that's one for a draw, but. Yeah, Everton, man, they just really disappointed me. They really, really did, Man United deserved the win. Could have been more than 2 goals because in the first half, Man United had so many choices. And I think it was Anthony Martial or Wan-Bissaka that missed that glorious chance, from open play. So, yeah, it could have been worse for Everton. But 2-0, it's not that bad, but not that great because if they would have got a decent result, then they could have really be easily out of the relegation zone because they're on the same points as Nottingham Forest and Leicester City. So they need to get that win and make sure that other teams drop points. So they're up against Fulham. Goodison Park. It's not a place to go to, but I know the atmosphere will be great. It's on the Sean Dice, so there you go. So I'm gonna go. So I went for 1-0 Everton win. Of course, both teams haven't been great on form, but listen, it's like Goodison Park. We all know what happens when teams go to Goodison Park. The likes of Arsenal when they went there, Chelsea just nicked a 1-0 win. Tottenham drew there, so that's what I'm telling you guys. So going to Goodison Park ain't that easy, especially with that atmosphere. So I think Everton will make it very difficult for Fulham. So I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think Everton will nick that 1-0 win, and it's going to be probably Neil Maupay that will seal that goal. So yeah, 1-0 to Everton is going to be my prediction on that one. Since it's at Goodison Park. So yeah, 1-0 Everton. Now this game is interesting. Southampton against Crystal Palace. And I have to tell you, Crystal Palace has scored 7 goals ever since Roy Hodgson took over, and that is more than Patrick Vieira's done this season. So I'm telling you, when Patrick Vieira first came to Crystal Palace, I'm not sure how many goals he scored, but Roy Hodgson, man, he absolutely destroyed Leeds, which I didn't expect that to happen since that end of world. But boy, and I feel like I read that stat that says that person who got the assist, they had to go for the assist, is the first young player to do that since somebody did it, during the 1980s Sovereigns. So that is absolutely amazing. So big up to that player, man. And they're absolutely cooking. Like I said, if Crystal Palace beat Southampton, which I think they 100% think they will do, and Chelsea lose, they'll be 3 points behind Chelsea. And who would have thought that Crystal Palace would be above Chelsea? Nobody did. But listen, we're just dead this season. So yeah, if we keep on losing games and Wolves and Crystal Palace do win, then at the end of this, when we approach May, which is about 2 weeks' time, you'll see us talking about 13th, and that will be really, really close to relegation. So yeah, so I feel like Crystal Palace will win. Southampton looked absolutely atrocious against Manchester City because I would have thought, since it's at St. Mary's, I would have thought they got that win, but yeah, they were just absolutely atrocious. So and plus, it looks like to me they could get relegated. Because if you look at this year, they've lost 19 games this season. 19. And in order for them to be out of the relegation zone, they need to keep on winning games and make sure that other teams keep dropping points. But listen, they haven't been great this season, Southampton. Even though they sacked managers, they still haven't been that great. So I think Crystal Palace will just hurt Southampton even more. So I'm gonna go for 3-1 Crystal Palace win. I think Southampton will score, but yeah, Crystal Palace will get that now the win under Roy Hodgson. So for him to return back and get those 2 wins ever since he returned, obviously it's just been great. So yeah, 3-1 to Crystal Palace is going to be my prediction on that one. Right. The next one is Tottenham Hotspur against Bournemouth. Now, of course, Tottenham were very lucky to beat Brighton, whereas for Bournemouth, I think they've won against Leicester City. So there you go. So both teams have won their game. Now, when these two teams met earlier, it was a 3-2, and I think was it Bentancur that scored that late winner to make it 3-2? Yeah, something like that. So yeah, Bournemouth were 2-0 up, but then they've allowed Tottenham to win that game. So yeah, so listen, this one is going to be different because it's at White Hart Lane. Man City went there, they've lost. Liverpool went there, they've won. Chelsea went there, they've lost. Also went there, they've beaten. So White Hart Lane is a difficult place because of the atmosphere of the fans, and also Antonio Conte is gone. So for this game on later on today, I went for a Tottenham Hotspur win of 2-0 because I still think Bournemouth are a really good team, and yeah, they're 3 points over the relegation zone. But in order for them to be really truly out, they need to beat Tottenham Hotspur, which I don't think Bournemouth ever gone to White Hart Lane and beat them. So yeah, so that's why I went for a 2-0 Tottenham win. I think Harry Kane will score, maybe Human Son. I want to say massive congratulations to Human Son. That amazing goal against Brighton, that first goal, makes sure that he is the first Asian player to reach 100 Premier League goals. So welcome to a Premier League 100 club, Human Son. So really congratulations to him. Congratulations. So yeah, even though he hasn't been doing well this season, for him to score that amazing goal to make him 100 goals in the Premier League, honestly, is absolutely fantastic. So well done to Human Son. So I think he will score too. So if Bournemouth can put off a shock and make sure that they win, then I'm telling you that if Aston Villa, if they could get a win, they'll be 3 points behind Tottenham. So Tottenham really need to be careful. But listen, I don't see Bournemouth beating Tottenham Hotspur White Hart Lane. So yeah, it's going to be 2-0 Tottenham win. It's not going to be a high scoring game like a 5-0 something like that. But listen, they'll beat Bournemouth. So, and they have to if they want to make sure that other teams don't catch up to Tottenham. So 2-0 to Tottenham is going to be my prediction. While the next one is up in the West Midlands, Wolves against Brentford. Now, of course, Brentford lost their game against Newcastle 2-1, which I did predict, so I got 3 points. Whereas for Wolves, they beat Chelsea, which I didn't expect that to happen, but they did. So, yeah, but listen, the reason why I went for Brentford win is because they played better football than Chelsea. Of course, Ivan Toney, that penalty miss. That first one that he did is the first time that he ever missed a penalty. So that penalty record is over. But Brentford got another penalty, and this time he scored. But listen, that was enough to win that game because Newcastle beat them 2-1. So there you go. So listen, Brentford are much better than Chelsea. They're higher than Chelsea. They got more points than Chelsea. They scored more goals than Chelsea. So yeah, so for this one, Brentford are going to get this win. So yeah, I think either Tony will score and maybe Moepo will score the goal for Brentford. It's going to be 2-0. And of course, going to Monaco ain't that easy, but listen, I also went there, they've won. Man City went there, beat them 3-1. I think Man United got there, just nicked that 1-0 win. So there you go. So going to Monaco ain't that easy, but listen, Brentford are much better team than Chelsea. So yeah, 2-0 to Brentford is going to be my prediction, that one. So if Brentford don't continue this great form, then like I said, other teams can catch up to them. The likes of Fulham, maybe Chelsea, if they win their game. So Brentford need to win this game against Wolves, and I think they will do that. So 2-0 to Brentford is going to be my prediction on that one. Right, Manchester City against Leicester City. Now, of course, earlier this week, Leicester City have announced that Dean Smith is the new head coach for Leicester City, and John Terry will be the assistant. Now, for this one, I'm not sure if Dean Smith is going to be the right option for Leicester City, because if we look at last earlier this season, he was this he was 17th, and it was this close here for Aston Villa to go down. No, actually, was it? No, it was 2 seasons ago. Yeah, he didn't go Aston Villa relegated, but they sacked him and brought in Stephen Gerrard. And if you look at Norwich this season, their target was to at least get into the top six, or maybe perhaps get to the top two, but that didn't happen, so that's why he got sacked. So I'm really not sure if Dean Smith is going to be the right answer for Leicester City, but we should wait and see. But listen, other than that, is that Manchester City Stadium, Erling Haaland, continues to impress. That goal against Bayern Munich, going to 45 points, and he's the first player to ever do that. The first Premier League player to reach 45 goals when the Premier League season has started. So I told you guys Erling Haaland will continue to break records, and he's broken another one. So there you go. And that is also the first time that Erling Haaland has faced Bayern Munich and won, because in the Classico, when he's played for Dortmund, he has never ever beaten Bayern Munich, but he did that for Manchester City. So it looks like him going to Man City was the best option. So big up to Erling Haaland. And also, Man City really impressed me because it couldn't be more than 3 goals. They made the defense look terrible, especially Upamecano, man. He looked absolutely terrible, giving the ball away so many times. It could have been worse for Bayern Munich. And listen, guess what? That was Thomas Tuchel's 4th game already, and he lost only 2. It looks like in the Bundesliga he's doing well, but in cup competitions he's looking terrible. So I'm really not sure if Bayern Munich brought in the right manager. But listen, it's way too early to judge. Listen, it's the season's already coming to an end with just 8 games to go. So let's see what Thomas Tuchel can do next season. But I doubt that he brought in the right manager, because if Bayern Munich want to win the Champions League, or perhaps do well in the DFB Pokal, I don't think they should have sacked Jules Lagerson, because he only lost 2 games and his win percentage is like 76%. So yeah, I feel like sacking Jules Lagerson was the one thing to do. So there you go. But listen, anyway, this game, focusing to this game, I think Man City will destroy Leicester City. I think Erling Haaland will score maybe a hat trick, and I think Jack Grealish will score, because he's been really, really good. After the World Cup. Before the World Cup, he looked alright, but not been that great. But after that, he looked absolutely sensational and sublime. So to me, I feel like he will score this game, and Erling Haaland will score a hat trick. And also, let me not forget, Kevin De Bruyne, I think that the assist for Erling Haaland score, I think against Southampton, was his 100th Premier League assist. So we have seen 100, Son scoring his 100 goal and Premier League goal against Brighton, and Kevin De Bruyne with that 100 assists. So he's getting close to beating Frank Lampard, Bright, William Gibbs, and all that stuff. So that's why, to me, Kevin De Bruyne is the top 3 midfielders in the Premier League. If he continues to beat those players, then he will be number 1. So big up to Kevin De Bruyne. So of course, many people thinking, why did Jose Mourinho had to sack him? Listen, I don't know. I really don't know. So there you go. So to me, I feel like Kevin De Bruyne will get another assist, maybe 2, and Erling Haaland will score a hat trick. So that's how the game ends. So it's going to be Man City 4-0. Even though there's a new manager bound. Listen, for me, I don't think Dean Smith is the answer, but let's see what he can do against this really good Manchester City team. And let's not forget that next weekend is the FA Cups. So Man City got Leicester City next, then Real Madrid on Bayern Munich on Wednesday. Then next weekend they face Sheffield United. So Man City have got really, really good games. Of course, if Arsenal do get that win next week, which I think is against Southampton, they will be 9 points clear. So let's not forget that Man City have got 2 games in hand. So if they win their games in hand, they'll be 3 points behind Arsenal before they face each other. So things get really interesting. So Man City need to get these 3 points against Leicester City, and I think they'll do that. So it's going to be 4-0 to them, 4-0 to Manchester City. They'll destroy Leicester City since it's at the Etihad. Alright, the next game is Sunday's games, and of course the first game is a London derby. I would have thought that this game is going to be 4:30 p.m, but it's actually 2, so it is what it is. So of course West Ham and Manchester United played the game on Thursday, so that's why these two have to play on Sunday. So Thursday, Sunday, 3 days grace, if you know what I mean. Alright, so the first game is London derby between West Ham United and Arsenal. Now, of course, West Ham won their game against Fulham in the London derby, whereas for Arsenal, they dropped 2 points. Well, 3 points against Liverpool because they were 2-0 up. And it could have been a Liverpool win, but Al Ramsdale, I have to say, what an amazing save. Like, to me, he should be England's #1. Now, of course, he did make that mistake when we lost to Hungary last season, but listen, that was the Nations League, and we know that Gareth Southgate just it's not the first time he ever got England relegated. He did that for Middlesbrough. So yeah, so for me, I still think Al Ramsdale should be England's #1 because that save in the last minute of the 90, that was the best save you will ever see this season. This is not the first time he has done it. So to me, that would be the save of the month. So that was a really good game. Like, could it be the best game that we've seen this season? I think it should. I think it should, because Liverpool, if Mo Salah would have scored that penalty, maybe Liverpool could have won. But listen, Mo Salah, I feel like the last 2 penalties that he faced against Bournemouth and Arsenal, he missed them. So this is very interesting. But listen, Arsenal are still 6 points clear. If they can beat Southampton and since Man City got the FA Cup, I still think that Arsenal will still win this league. And for Arsenal to win the league, they need to make sure they keep on winning games. Of course, other than City, of course. But listen, they got West Ham, then they got I believe Southampton win a winnable game. Then I think after that is Manchester City. So if they win those next 2 games before they face Man City, then that would be great. That would be great for Arsenal. So I still think they'll win the title. But in order for them to not win the title, West Ham need to make sure that they do Man City a favour and beat them. So, but listen, Arsenal got a good record against the Hammers. At London Stadium, of course. Last season they beat them 3-1. The season after that was 3-3. The last season it was a draw 1-1. Then they've lost 1-0. So yeah, sometimes Arsenal go there and don't do well. But listen, they're a really good run of form. West Ham are close to the relegation battle, so they need to get this win. Can they do that? Let's wish and wait and see. But I watched the highlights against Ghent, and yeah, West Ham wasn't that great against Ghent. You know, they could have lost this game, but a draw is not that bad. So let's see if they can do the same thing against Arsenal and just ruin their title hopes. But listen, I don't think they'll do that. Arsenal need to get this win, and I don't think they'll win. I don't remember the last time Arsenal got a clean sheet, so I think they will concede the game, but listen, they'll get that win. I feel like Gabriel Martinelli will score for Arsenal. The same thing goes for Gabriel Jesus and Saka. The front 3 of Arsenal have been scintillating, so those are going to be the goal scorers for that one. For West Ham United, maybe Jalbone will score for West Ham, so those are going to be the goal scorers for that game on Sunday. So 3-1 to Arsenal is going to be my prediction on that one. So I feel like they will bounce back, and they need to do that so that Man City will not close the gap on them, you know. So Arsenal need to get this win. I think they will do that. And of course, last and not least is Nottingham Forest against Manchester United. Now, of course, many people is going for a Nottingham Forest win because of Marcus Rashford being out and Alessandro Martinez being out of the rest of the season. But listen, Nottingham Forest ain't that great, you know. They ain't that great. When these two face each other in the Carabao Cup, Manchester United beat them 2-0, and of course the Washer will score. But listen, Man United have still got their best players. I mean, look at Sebasa, 2 goals in like 7 minutes in a game against Sevilla, which of course they did draw. Of course, Man United did what Arsenal did against Liverpool, 2-0 up, but then allowed Sevilla to get back into this game, and it was 2-2. And let's not forget that Man United don't have a really good work against Sevilla, but the fact that Man United couldn't beat Sevilla was questionable, and those goals were 2 own goals, one from Malacia and the other one from Harry Maguire. So but listen, I still think Man United will get to the final. I still think. And listen, they're in the FA Cup semi-final against Brighton, which is going to be a difficult game, but I expect Man United to beat Brighton. So there you go. But I'll definitely be doing watch-alongs for those games, because Chelsea was supposed to be facing Man United next week, but that game is going to be postponed. So thank goodness that next week we're not going to be playing in the Premier League. So thank goodness for that. So there you go. So listen, I know that going to Central ain't that easy, but listen, Man United still got the best players in order for them to do well. The likes of Bruno Fernandes, Sabitzer, Weghorst, Jadon Sancho, Casemiro, he is back. So I still think they still got their best players, and those players are still better than Nottingham Forest players. Of course, Jesse Lingard, I'm not sure if he's going to be playing against his old club, but we should wait and see. But listen, Man United still got the best players, so I still think they're good enough. I still think we'll finish in the top 4 and they'll win a trophy. If they maybe it's the FA Cup, not sure. The Europa League, 50-50, but we should wait and see. But listen, Man United, even though people say they're overachieved, listen, they had a good preseason, and so that's why I told you guys that Man United will finish in the top 4 and win a trophy, and people thought I was talking rubbish. Look at that, same points as Newcastle United, and they've won the Carabao Cup. So there you go. So that game on Sunday, I still think they'll finish in the top 4. So it's going to be 2-0 to Manchester United. It's as simple as that. Alright guys, so that is all my predictions. Let me go through them one more time. So today's games, I gone for 2-2 draw between Aston Villa and Newcastle United. Then I gone for Brighton win against Chelsea 2-0. Then I gone for a slight 1-0 Everton win against Fulham. Then I gone for a convincing 3-1 Crystal Palace win against Southampton. Then I gone for another convincing 2-0 Tottenham Hotspur win against Bournemouth. Then I've gone for a convincing 2-0 Brentford win against Wolves, even though it's not going to happen. But come on, Brentford, do us a favour and beat them, because I don't want Wolves to catch up to Chelsea. I really, really don't. Then I've gone for a Man City destroying 4-0 win against Leicester City, a back to win 4-0 win. Then I go for a Arsenal to win a London derby against West Ham 3-1. Then finally on Sunday, I go for Man United 2-0 win against Nottingham Forest. Sorry guys, I forgot to predict this, forgot to tell you about this one, but I'll do this very quickly. Liverpool against Leeds. Now of course, Leeds, I would have thought they beat Crystal Palace 2-1, but the fact they got destroyed by Crystal Palace is just unbelievable. So yeah, but listen, these two they hate each other. It's the biggest rivalry. So looking forward to this game on Monday. Maybe I'll be doing a live watch on that one. Of course, Leeds United need to get this win if they want to be out of the relegation zone. But listen, Liverpool, of course, they drew against Arsenal, but they could have won. They really could have won. So listen, and also Luis Diaz could be back, so that's another positive. So if Luis Diaz is fit enough and returning to Liverpool, and then I can see them beating Leeds United at home. So yeah, so for this game on Monday, and plus Liverpool have got a really good record against Leeds at Ellen Road. So there you go. So they beat them last season 2-0, and 3-0, and it's going to be like. It's not going to be like 3-0, but it's going to be 2-0 at least. I feel like they will keep a clean sheet this time, and they'll finally get the win. And if they do win, then Liverpool will be will be close to Europe, which is the Europa League. So I think they'll take the Europa League, but not the Conference League though, because they hate that. Even I hate that. I would never take the Conference League. I would choose to not finish in Europe than finish in the Conference League. Honestly, it's just not that great. It's really not that great. So yeah. So I think on Monday Liverpool will bounce back from that draw against Arsenal, and they will get that win against Leeds United. So that's my final prediction: 2-0 to Liverpool. So there you go. All right, guys. So that is it. That is all my Premier prediction for game week number 31. Let me know in the comments down below whether you agree or disagree of my predictions and what's your predictions. Let me also know in the comments down below. And if I've got time, I will tell you guys and react to them of why you predict like Chelsea win or Leicester City win or something like that. So make sure you guys let me know in your predictions in the comments down below. Alright guys, so that is all my Premier predictions on a Saturday for the first time. But don't worry, next week next Friday I'll be doing the Premier predictions, because of course next week is the FA Cup. So make sure next week that you tune into that one. And of course I'm going to be doing live watch alongs for the FA Cup final, which is Man United Brighton and Man City Sheffield United. So make sure you guys check that out next week, since Chelsea are playing next weekend. So there you go. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget, later on today there's going to be a live watch along between Chelsea and Brighton. Not looking forward to that one, but I have to watch it since I'm a Chelsea fan. Make sure you click the bell notification so I never miss that live watch along. Make sure you click the subscribe button if you're new first. Click the like button, give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and make sure you click the share button so that everyone can come along and give their predictions, and also come and join me for the live watch along later on today. So make sure you guys check that out. Alright guys, so have a great weekend. Good luck to all of your teams, and see you guys later on today for the live watch along. Take care, have a look at yourselves, and peace. I'm out of here. God bless.